All right, let's dive in today, shall we? We're taking a look at money energy.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's a bit of a fascinating topic.
Right.
And our source material for this deep dive is this self-published book.
Okay.
It's kind of full of interesting ideas about attracting wealth and abundance.
I like it.
So we're going to try to distill the main concepts from it and, see if any of them resonate with you guys listening out there.
Awesome. Sounds good.
So right off the bat, this book claims that money is like a form of energy.
Okay.
And that it's constantly transforming rather than, disappearing.
I see. So like it's not just gone when you spend it, it's transformed into something else.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like when you pay your bills, the money might feel like it's gone, poof.
Yeah.
But the energy's just gone somewhere else.
Right. Okay.
Like it's shifted into keeping the lights on or
Sure. Yeah.
or, paying the people who work for the electric company.
Uh-huh. It makes sense.
So it's less about loss and more about, just changing form.
Yeah.
Kind of like converting heat to electricity or something.
I like that.
But then the book gets a little bit out there.
Oh.
It starts talking about people who are good with money, financially successful people, saying that they can smell opportunities.
Smell opportunity.
Yeah, no, it's a bit of a strange metaphor, right?
It is a bit out there.
But they give this example of this woman named Annie.
Okay.
She's a house flipper.
Oh, cool.
And she can just walk into a totally dilapidated house.
Wow.
And immediately see its potential.
Interesting. That's a cool skill to have.
Yeah, she can see what it could become where other people just see a wreck.
I see. Yeah.
So, I don't know. Are they saying that being good with money is all about just having good intuition? You just know?
It's an interesting question. I don't think it's entirely about just intuition, right? Yeah. It's got to be more than that.
It's probably part of it, but
it seems like it's more about, developing your awareness of market trends and recognizing what people need, but maybe haven't been given yet.
Yeah, seeing those unmet needs.
Exactly. And also, trusting your gut feeling when it comes to making those big decisions,
Sure. So it's not so much about literally smelling anything.
Right.
It's more developing a sensitivity.
It's a good way to put it.
To where the opportunities actually are.
Yeah, I like that a lot better than smelling.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes much more sense that way.
So the book then goes on to talk about giving and receiving and how there's this kind of natural flow between the two.
Interesting.
And they encourage people to really focus on contributing value, not just always trying to get.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which, it seems kind of counterintuitive when we're talking about money,
It does in a way.
Because you think about finances, it's you want to, get more.
Yeah, you want to acquire things.
Yeah, exactly. But I can kind of see how being generous might lead to, some unexpected rewards down the line.
It makes sense. You build those good relationships with people and, kind of build your network.
Right. And it kind of creates I don't know what you want to call it, good karma or something.
Right. Exactly. What goes around comes around, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's not just writing a check. It's more cultivating a whole attitude of being generous.
Uh-huh. I like that a lot.
And using your money to do some good.
Definitely.
So then the book moves on to this whole idea of, they call it purpose-driven wealth.
Okay.
So they're basically saying that real lasting abundance comes from, doing something good with your money.
So it's not just about making money for yourself, but using it for a larger purpose.
Exactly. They give this example of this guy, Teddy, I think.
Okay.
And he really wanted to create these co-living spaces.
Oh, cool.
For digital nomads.
Wow. So he was trying to build community.
Right. Yeah. And that really resonated with a lot of investors.
It makes sense. People want to be a part of something.
Exactly.
That's bigger than themselves.
And it seems like all these purpose-driven companies are the ones that are really taking off.
Yeah. It makes you wonder if that's why they're so successful.
Right. Because they're not just in it for the money.
Yeah, exactly. They actually care about making a difference.
So maybe instead of chasing money just for the sake of having a bunch of money, we should be asking ourselves, what problems can we solve?
Yeah.
What good can we do with the money that we have?
That's a great point. Shift the focus from personal gain to positive impact.
Right, yeah.
It's a much more fulfilling way to think about it.
And then the book kind of shifts gears and talks about how to become a money magnet.
A money magnet. Okay, I'm intrigued.
Yeah, and they say it all boils down to really believing in what you're doing and having confidence.
Okay.
So I'm kind of curious, is it really about energy and stuff, or is it more about just good marketing?
That's a good question.
What?
It could be a little of both, right? Yeah, probably.
The book emphasizes, that if you truly believe your work is helping people, that sort of energy, that passion is going to attract them to you.
Right.
But then, that belief also needs to be communicated, right?
Yeah, it's like, how do you tell people about it?
Exactly. And that's where marketing comes in.
Okay, yeah.
But it can't just be hype.
Right.
It's about genuinely understanding your customers.
Right.
And knowing how what you offer can make their lives better.
So it's kind of like instead of chasing after clients,
right,
you create something amazing that people are actually going to want.
Exactly. You build it and they will come, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And then it's like you were saying, you got to believe in it.
I love
100%. You got to be passionate about it.
Exactly. Because that passion is contagious,
Yeah.
People can feel it. And
then they talk about using money to solve problems.
Okay.
Which I thought was kind of interesting.
Yeah, how so?
Well, they basically say, instead of just focusing on like what you don't have and like, oh, I don't have enough money for this or I can't afford that.
Yeah, I do that all the time.
You should try to reframe it and be like, okay, so how can I use money to solve this problem?
That's a good way to look at it, yeah.
So it's like shifting your perspective from being like kind of a victim of your circumstances to being like, I don't know, more empowered.
Yeah, I like that.
More proactive.
Like instead of focusing on the limitations, you're thinking about solutions and how money can be a tool to achieve those solutions.
Yeah. Yeah. And then they get into this whole thing about persistence and follow-up.
That's important.
Yeah. Which is, super relevant because we live in this world where we're like instant gratification all the time.
Exactly. We want everything right now.
Right. But they emphasize that building wealth, it takes time.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not like an overnight thing.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly. And they share this story about this guy, Christopher.
Okay.
He was an aspiring author.
And he kept getting rejections from literary agents.
Oh, I bet that was tough.
Yeah. And he could have just given up.
It'd be easy to.
But he kept at it.
Good for him.
He kept refining his manuscript.
Wow.
He kept following up with those agents.
That's dedication.
And eventually, one of them was like, okay, let's do this.
Wow, so it paid off.
It did, yeah.
Persistence really is key.
Yeah, so I think the big takeaway there is just don't get discouraged if you experience setbacks.
Absolutely.
Don't let those rejections stop you.
It's all part of the process.
Yeah, just keep learning, keep refining, keep going.
Exactly.
And then the book kind of offers this really interesting perspective.
Okay, what is it?
They say, create, don't compete.
Create, don't compete.
Yeah, which is, kind of a refreshing take.
Yeah, especially these days.
Yeah, because everybody's like, trying to be better than everybody else.
Right, it's all about competition.
But they're saying, focus on creating something unique and valuable.
Yeah, find your niche and rock it, instead of trying to be a carbon copy of someone else.
And they use this example of Amelia, who was a botanist.
Okay.
And she just, shared her knowledge freely with everybody about, plant-based medicine.
That's amazing.
And I'm guessing that probably led to some pretty good stuff for her.
I would imagine so, yeah.
So it's maybe instead of always comparing ourselves to other people.
Yeah, and trying to outdo everyone.
Yeah, we should just focus on what we're good at.
Right. What makes us unique.
And how we can, use our talents to make a positive impact.
I love that. It's a much healthier way to approach things.
Yeah, it is.
And who knows, maybe even more profitable in the long run.
Right.
Because you're not wasting energy on competing. You're focusing on creating.
Exactly. So, I don't know. I'm really starting to like this whole idea of money energy.
Yeah, me too.
It's this combination of, having the right mindset, taking the right actions, aligning yourself with a purpose.
Definitely. It's holistic.
Yeah, it is.
And speaking of mindset, this book dives deep into the power of imagination.
Oh, okay.
And using it to manifest your goals.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So they say don't just, daydream about what you want, but really visualize it, feel it as if it's already happening.
So should I be picturing myself swimming in a pool of gold coins?
You could. I mean, if that's your thing.
Right.
But I think the point is to create a clear mental picture of what you want your life to look like.
Gotcha.
And really connect with the emotions that you would feel if you achieve those goals.
So it's not just about wishing for things. Yeah. It's about actually training your brain to work towards those goals.
Exactly. It's like planting those seeds in your subconscious.
Huh. Interesting.
And, it's not just some woo-woo concept either.
Oh, really?
There's actually some science behind it.
What do you mean?
Well, there's a growing body of research that shows that visualization can actually like physically change your brain
Oh.
and improve your performance in all sorts of areas.
So it's not just like positive thinking, mumbo jumbo.
It's about harnessing the power of your mind to create real change.
Okay, yeah.
It's fascinating stuff.
And you know what else they talk about?
What's that?
Gratitude.
Gratitude.
Yeah, which makes sense to me.
Yeah, it's like the more grateful you are for what you have,
Right.
the more you open yourself up to receiving even more good things.
Exactly. And they give this example of, I think his name was Ronnie.
Right.
He was a chef.
Cool.
And he was going through some rough times, like financially.
Mm-hmm.
But he would always make a point of expressing gratitude.
Oh, wow.
For like his tools and his ingredients.
That's amazing.
Even for the customers who, gave him constructive criticism.
Wow, that's a really great attitude to have.
And it seemed like that turned things around for him.
Huh. You know what they say, what you focus on expands.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So if you're always focusing on what you don't have, you're just going to attract more lack.
Right.
But if you focus on what you're grateful for, you open yourself up to more abundance.
So it's like choose to appreciate what you already have.
Exactly. And watch how things shift.
And then the book finishes up with like a final key concept.
Okay.
Which is investing in yourself.
Oh, that's so important.
I know, right? And I'm kind of interested to hear how they define that.
Yeah, me too. Like, what does investing in yourself really mean in this context?
Right. Is it just about taking courses and stuff?
Well, that could be part of it, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's also about, recognizing that you are your most valuable asset.
Okay.
And that investing in your growth, both personally and professionally, is the best way to unlock your full potential.
So it's not just about learning new skills.
Right. It's about becoming the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
And that includes taking care of your health, your well-being, your mental and emotional state.
It's like creating a life that supports your success.
Exactly. Because let's face it, you can't pour from an empty cup.
That's true.
If you're burnt out and exhausted, it's going to be a lot harder to attract those money-making opportunities.
So you got to prioritize taking care of yourself.
Absolutely. Self-care is not selfish. It's essential.
This whole idea of investing in yourself really resonates with me.
Say too.
It's like taking the time to develop your skills,
Mm-hmm.
expand your knowledge, nurture your well-being.
Yeah, it's about becoming a more well-rounded individual.
And ultimately, becoming the best version of yourself.
Exactly. And that's a journey that never really ends.
That's a good point.
There's always more to learn, more to grow.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Me too. It's exciting.
Wow. So we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, haven't we?
Yeah, we have.
We talked about, money as energy, smelling those opportunities,
right,
giving and receiving, finding that purpose, becoming money magnets.
Yeah, money management.
Using money to solve those problems.
That's right.
Persistence, creating instead of competing. Oh, and imagination and gratitude. Can't forget those.
Definitely not.
And of course, investing in ourselves.
Well, you covered a lot.
It's amazing how much this book packs into, just a few pages.
It is pretty impressive.
I'm curious, out of all of those, is there one concept that really stood out to you?
That's a good question.
Or maybe one that surprised you?
I think what really struck me is just how much emphasis they put on your mindset.
Okay.
Aligning your internal state with your external goals.
Yeah.
It's not just about working hard or using specific strategies. Mm-hmm. It's about really cultivating the right beliefs and attitudes.
Almost like your external reality is a reflection of what's going on inside,
Exactly. That's what it seems like.
Yeah. And I feel like that's something that resonates with a lot of people.
I think so too.
Because we get so caught up in, external factors.
Yeah, the things we can't control.
Right. But we forget how much power we have to shape our reality.
Just by shifting our thoughts and beliefs.
So I guess the question is, what would you say is the core message of the book?
I think it's that money energy.
Okay.
It's about aligning your mindset,
right,
your actions, and your purpose to create a life that's both, prosperous and fulfilling.
So it's not just about getting rich quick.
Definitely not.
It's about creating a healthy relationship with money, right?
Absolutely.
And using it for good.
It's about understanding that money is a tool, Yeah.
It's
a form of energy that can be used to create positive change in the world.
And I love how they talk about believing in yourself and investing in your growth.
Yeah, that's crucial.
And finding that deeper purpose, you know?
Definitely aligning your financial goals with something that's meaningful to you.
So I guess the question for our listeners is, like, even if you don't, like, completely agree with everything in the book,
Yeah.
are there any principles that you can maybe experiment with in your own life?
Yeah. I think that's a great challenge, to take some of these ideas and see how they work for you.
Like what resonates the most?
Exactly. What feels aligned with your values?
And what can you do, like right now, to shift your own financial energy in a positive direction?
That's what it's all about, taking action.
Yeah, like actually doing something.
Yeah, not just reading about it.
Because, we can talk about this stuff all day.
Right.
But it's not going to make a difference unless we actually put it into practice.
That's how we create real change.
So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive into money energy, I want to leave our listeners with like one final thought.
Oh, in case you.
If money is energy, right?
Yeah.
What kind of energy are you putting out there?
That's a good one.
Are you approaching it with like fear, scarcity?
Yeah, lack.
Or are you approaching it with, confidence and gratitude?
Right, an open heart.
And a belief that, like, abundance is possible for you.
That's a choice, isn't it?
It is, because the energy you put out is the energy you're going to get back.
That's the law of attraction.
So if you're constantly worried about money, you're probably going to attract more situations that make you worry about money.
Exactly. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
But if you can shift your mindset to one of abundance and possibility, you open yourself up to like a whole new world.
It's amazing what can happen when you change your perspective.
So much of this comes down to mindset,
I agree.
It's about recognizing that we actually have the power to create our own financial reality.
That's so empowering.
It is. So I guess to kind of sum it up, I would encourage everyone listening to just take a moment and reflect on their own money energy.
Yeah. Good idea.
Like, what are those beliefs and attitudes that you're holding on to that might be, like, blocking the flow of abundance?
Yeah. What limiting beliefs are holding you back?
And then what can you do starting today to shift those beliefs?
Right. Take action.
And create a more positive magnetic energy around your finances.
It's about becoming conscious of your thoughts and choosing to focus on what you want to create.
Rather than what you're afraid of.
Exactly. Fear is a powerful force, but so is love.
And I think that's a great place to leave it.
I agree.
It's about empowering ourselves to create a life that we love, a life of abundance and fulfillment.
That's the dream, right?
It is. This has been such an insightful deep dive. I'm really glad we had this conversation.
Me too.
And hopefully our listeners got something out of it as well.
I hope so.
We've covered a lot of ground today, and I definitely encourage everyone to, revisit any of the ideas that resonated with them.
Yeah, take some notes.
And most importantly, take action.
Yes, absolutely.
Start experimenting with these principles, see what happens.
You might be surprised at the results.
You never know.
Right. The possibilities are endless.
The power to create abundance, it's within each and every one of us.
That's a beautiful thought.
It is. So thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.
My pleasure.
Until next time, stay curious, stay open, and keep those creative juices flowing.
Absolutely. We'll see you next time.
It's pretty amazing how much of this money energy stuff really comes down to like our beliefs and perspectives.
It is, yeah.
It's like our internal world can really shape our external reality, huh?
I think so, absolutely.
So I'm curious, like, for you personally, do you have any practices or anything that help you cultivate that abundant mindset?
Yeah, actually, one thing I do every day is gratitude journaling.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I just take a few minutes each morning and write down 3 things that I'm grateful for.
Like anything specific?
It could be anything, really. Like a delicious cup of coffee or a beautiful sunset.
Just those little things.
Yeah, just appreciating the simple things.
I like that.
It really helps to shift my focus, away from what I might be lacking and towards all the good that's already there.
That's a good point.
Instead of dwelling on what you don't have, choose to appreciate what you do have.
Makes sense.
And just see how that changes things.
I've also been thinking about that visualization stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like, is there actually any science behind that?
Well, there's a growing body of research.
Oh, really?
That suggests visualization can be really powerful.
Interesting.
For improving performance and achieving goals.
Like, how so?
Well, they found that when athletes use visualization to mentally rehearse their movements.
Oh, interesting.
It can actually improve their performance on the field.
So it's not just like wishful thinking.
Right, exactly.
It's like actually training your brain.
Yeah, when you vividly imagine yourself achieving a goal,
yeah,
you're essentially creating new neural pathways in your brain.
Oh, wow.
Making it more likely that you'll take the actions needed to make it happen.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like rewiring your brain for success.
You know, this whole deep dive has really got me thinking. Like, these money energy ideas, they're not just some, like, out there concepts. They're actually quite practical.
Absolutely, and empowering.
It's about realizing that we have more control over our financial well-being than we might think.
Exactly. It's about taking ownership.
It's not about luck or circumstances.
It's about making conscious choices.
Yeah, and creating a life of abundance, you know, on our own terms. And it all starts with our mindset.
100%.
So for anyone listening out there, instead of feeling limited by where you are right now, choose to focus on what you want to create.
And take action?
Yeah, like actually do something.
That's how you make things happen.
And, you know, this journey to financial abundance, it's not always going to be easy.
It's a process.
There will be ups and downs, for sure.
Challenges along the way.
But if we keep these principles in mind, we can navigate those challenges.
And maybe even start to smell those opportunities that we might have missed before.
It's all about staying curious, staying open.
And most importantly, staying true to yourself.
This has been such a great conversation.
I agree.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into money energy.
It's been my pleasure.
And to all our listeners out there, keep exploring these ideas, keep experimenting, and keep creating a life that you love.
That's what it's all about.
Thanks for tuning in to The Deep Dive.
See you next time.
We'll see you on the next one.